Hello, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about some stuff, some mental health and like physical health stuff. But before we get into that, I just wanted to let you know that there's a little update to my home life situation, I guess. My little hamster passed away last week, which we were expecting because she was really old. She was 3, so she was definitely it was her time. I was still very sad, but the good news is that actually before that happened, we decided to adopt my dog Zeus, and so he's living with us now. He's just over there having a little afternoon nap. I will be making a more in-depth video about Zeus on Patreon, so if you want to watch that, that will be over there. Just wanted to give you a little heads up, so if you start seeing him in my stories and in videos and things, so just what's happening. Also, that is why I'm going to be very tired for the following couple of months. Okay, so today's topic of conversation is going to be getting worse after getting better. When you have a chronic illness, you don't ever get well in the sense that you cure it or get over it, and you will have periods of time where you feel better and you have more quality of life, and then you will have times of your life where you will be doing worse and you will have less quality of life. And I feel like this will vary. You have flare-ups, and then you can have flare-ups that last a day, a few hours, weeks, months, years. I noticed that when I first got sick, I was really, really sick, and then I feel like my disease activity kind of slowed down a little bit as I improved my quality of life and kind of worked on medication and treatments and exercising and having a better sleep routine, a better schedule for myself, and having just a more balanced lifestyle. We have slowly improved my quality of life, and we have slowly improved my wellness and how good I feel. And I definitely think that I didn't obviously get well, but I got better. I felt better. I felt more energetic, and I felt like I could do more things. I was less scared to go and do stuff and have little adventures because I wasn't as scared of having a flare-up whilst I was out of the house and then not being able to get back on my own, which was great. However, around November, I think last year, a few things happened that made my health start to decline. The problem was that I had a few situations that happened a few months apart. It was always when I was starting to try to get back on track to start to feel better again, that something new happened, and it kind of happened that I didn't feel better, and it just kind of took me down this kind of spiral. And I am finally now in a place where I feel better, and I'm starting to really have the energy, and not just physical but also mental energy, to want to get better and to want to do the things and the hard work that means I will feel better in the future. It can be a challenge, not just physically but also mentally, because it's so hard when you've worked for a year and a half, 2 years into something to feel a little bit better, and then a couple of things that are completely out of your control happen, and all that goes to waste, and you feel I can't believe I worked on that, and now it's just gone and I have to start from scratch. And now looking back, I can recognize that I wasn't starting from scratch. I was just kind of a few steps further back than I was, but I wasn't at the bottom of the stairs as I was when I first got sick, if that makes sense. In November, I don't know if you watched my vlogs, you probably remember at that time was when my cough got really, really bad, and I had this cough constantly, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't do anything, and it was really, really derailing my whole schedule and my whole routines, and it was really making me feel unwell. And we still haven't really quite figured out what it is. As time goes on, I'm more and more certain that it's asthma, specifically allergic asthma, but I still don't have an official diagnosis by any means. So that's just my feeling. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Also because of the treatment we've been doing and how it's working and stuff. That's also why. No, it's not just me thinking that's what I have. It's also from a little bit of evidence. My cough only started getting a little bit better, I think January. I saw my neurologist at the time, and we talked about how I wasn't doing so good with my migraines because of the cough. And so I was actually starting to cough less, and we were okay, we need to get this show back on the road kind of thing. I was working towards having a better sleep schedule, drinking my water, eating my fruit, eating my like every 3 hours, all that good stuff, you know, avoiding my triggers and taking my medication on time and exercising, all that. I was doing my water aerobics. I was really strongly considering starting to do it twice a week and like upping the intensity a little bit. It was sort of working, but then the pandemic happened and it was very stressful for me at the beginning because I felt like people weren't taking it very seriously. When I knew the pandemic was happening, but it wasn't official yet, and nobody was taking me seriously apart from my partner, obviously. Like, my parents were just like considering that I was just being too exaggerated and stuff, and I just felt really frustrated with that. When the pandemic was officialized and like everybody went into a state of emergency, I was like, okay, this is pretty much my normal life, so it's okay. But as the weeks went on and I couldn't go to water aerobics and I couldn't go outside really because at the time, people with chronic illnesses and, you know, elderly and people who were high risk were actually not allowed to be outside unless they were doing essential things like going to the supermarket and stuff. And I just avoided going because, like, it was unnecessary. So it was like quite a few weeks that I was just at home and I basically didn't leave the house. So it was quite bad, I think, for my body, and it was stressful and it was like a big adjustment. During this whole time, so since I think January or around that time, we started trying different medication for my migraines. It kind of sucks that a lot of those medications made me like gain weight and made me really sad and have really bad side effects, which meant that all the feelings that I was already going through and all the difficulties that I was already having were heightened. And especially when I was on a specific one, which is the last one I tried, it made me really, really sad. I didn't feel like doing anything. I just wanted to lay down all day. Like, I just didn't want to move. I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't see the point. And it was a huge struggle to do anything, to like get anything done. Yeah, it was really worrying and really stressful for me. And then we realized it was my medication, but the damage was kind of done. And I think it really like was the final nail in my coffin of like my health decline. I think it took me a while to kind of confront the fact that my health had declined and I was losing the amount of good days that I had in a week. So I had less and less good days. I had less and less like usable hours of the day. I found that I had to rest more and more. I feel like it was really hard for me to kind of admit that, and in somewhere in my brain I just felt like that was admitting defeat, that I was failing somehow. I understand now that I'm a little bit further ahead and I can look back on that and I can understand that that's wrong or that's not really how I would read that situation anymore. But at the time, that's what it felt like. And that's why I didn't really want to admit my health was decreasing and I wasn't respecting my new limitations and my new boundaries because I was trying to kind of emulate the amount of energy that I used to have. And I was getting very frustrated at the fact that I wasn't being able to keep up with that. When I finally like stopped and understood and like admitted to myself like, this, you're doing worse. And that doesn't mean that you've had a defeat. It doesn't mean you failed. It's just a part of this situation. It's just a part of life with this chronic illness. So you're just gonna have to slow down. The faster you slow down, like, and press the reset button, the faster you can actually get back to that. Because the more we are pushing ourselves to the point of exhaustion, the worse it's gonna get. I started slowing down. I started like respecting my body a little bit more. I started thinking, okay, it's okay if I don't do like 10 activities in a day. If I can only do 5, at least I'm going to do 5 and I'm going to have some rest so that tomorrow I can do another 5. So I was trying to kind of pace better and to respect the new limitations that I had and how much energy I was having at that time. So the amount of energy that I had each day. It was tough trying to like kind of pace and scale back. And I'm still slower, I guess, than I was, I want to say like 6 months ago or 9 months ago. But I feel like I'm a little bit more confident right now because I was able to go through this slump and this dip in health quality, I guess, and make it out of the other side. And like, we're always going to make it out the other side. It's just how we deal with the situation at the time that can really determine how long you're going to be in the situation. Because I feel like I was still having a lot of bad days, but because my mentality toward them had changed and I had shifted my perspective, just made it easier to go through with that. So yeah, I'm not saying that it's all about being positive and stuff. Like, it's not. And it was important for me to go through that because I learned a lot of valuable lessons, and I didn't even do it on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I actually went back to therapy. I'm doing therapy again, and I'm very happy that I made that decision. It really helped me like talk to somebody else and to kind of put my thoughts in order, reevaluate some things, and to realize that I have been allowing myself to go back into certain old habits that aren't good for me mentally, and how I can improve with that. And it's you don't have to do it alone. Obviously, I'm really lucky because I have a very supportive partner who helps me through all of it and who's very open with me and who always respects my limitations and my bad days and all of it, you know, and who's like there with me throughout. And I'm sure you realize that I took a step back. You know, I stopped making videos, I stopped posting on Instagram. And even now, I'm not really posting very often because I just don't feel like I have that much to say. And also about this whole COVID thing and people like being really disrespectful and not wearing their masks and not social distancing and like during parties and stuff. And people being really selfish right now. It makes me sad, and it makes me not want to be a part of it, if that makes sense. I feel like that doesn't really make sense, but I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. Like, I just didn't want to be even acknowledging that because I don't know, I'm just bleh. You know, people suck sometimes. I kind of need to be in my bubble for a little bit longer and to just get myself back together, and then we can start this whole activism thing back up again. I am like getting back to it, so I've already started the Foggy Book Club up again. I've opened my shop again. We've adopted Zeus, and I'm really excited about like the things that are coming, but I'm still taking my time and still slowly doing what I need to do to feel better. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm ready to continue working on myself and to continue putting the hard work in, and I'm excited to do that every day. I wanted to talk about this and the feelings that come up when you get worse, and especially after you've been working so hard to get better and things just happen and it's not your fault and it's just so frustrating. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's so important to talk about this journey and to talk about the fact that it's not always good. And even though I am happy and bubbly and excited on video, I'm still a person, and obviously I struggle like everybody else. And I feel like it's important to talk about the struggle because it's there, it exists, and it needs to be discussed, it needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be understood that this is going to be a part of the situation, it's going to be a part of our lives, and we have to learn how to deal with it. We have to learn how to overcome it, not in the sense that we are like overcoming disability, but in the sense that we need to keep the fire going in ourselves so that we don't give up, so that we keep fighting each day to have more quality of life, to have better days, to have more good days in a week. But there will be setbacks, and there will be times where it doesn't work as well, and where we have to take a few steps back and to kind of regroup, and that's okay. I didn't want to talk about it when it was happening because I felt like I wasn't ready. The frustration is a big feeling that I went through. Sadness, feeling like I failed, feeling like I was letting people down, feeling like I was a burden, feeling a lack of independence, but I'm slowly regaining some of it. I'm now able to go to the little market corner shop place at my building that sells fruits and produce and stuff, and I can go by myself. And I wasn't able to do that for a while, so like I am able to do that now, and that's a huge win. For now, I need to go slow, and that's okay. Even though I was going faster before, doesn't mean I was doing anything wrong at the time, and it doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong now. It just means that sometimes you have to change your speed, and that's okay. It's really hard when you get used to more quality of life and then it gets taken away from you again. I don't think it's easy the first time it happens. So like pre-diagnosis, like when you first get sick, it's really hard then. But when you work really hard to get better and then you have to take a few steps back because you've gotten worse again, I think that is difficult in a very different way, like similar but different. It's bad because already mourned the person you used to be, and you started working towards being this new person, and now that gets taken away from you a little bit, and you have to start again. And it's just like very, very frustrating and very like draining and exhausting. Stress is such a big trigger for all of my conditions, and it's important to keep that in check and to learn to manage that better. I don't know if this video is like any good. I'm sorry if it's terrible. That's just what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that me sharing my journey and the ups and the downs, it helps you kind of feel less alone in your ups and downs, particularly in the downs, because we always feel good in the ups, but it's always the downs that are a little bit harder. Just because it's a little bit harder than it is for other people, it doesn't mean it's any less worth it. I think it's actually more worth it. And take your time. Go slow. You don't have to go at everybody else's pace. You just have to go at your own pace, and you have to do what makes you happy and what makes you feel better and what gives you more quality of life. And if that is being able to drive again, or if that's just being able to go walk your dog by yourself, it's not less valuable, and it's not any less important just because, you know, you're not working or you're not doing some big thing to change the world. Because maybe you are changing somebody's world when you go and walk your dog, because they bring people happiness. So I don't know. That's it. That's what I wanted to talk about. So if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave it a like and a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not done that already. It would mean so much to me. Also consider ringing the notification bell, because I don't post on a regular schedule. Also, you can become a member on Patreon. That would really help me. You can also join our Foggy Book Club. That is absolutely 100% free. We have a new Instagram page and Twitter, so you can follow that. I will leave the links down below. We are currently voting for what book we're going to read throughout July and August, so you can vote for that. I will also leave a link down below. And last but not least, you can also shop my Etsy shop if you want to. Those are all the ways that you can help me and get involved and be more into the community. Okay, I don't know why I did that. So that's everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.